वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेष भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः. Welcome everyone. So there are 335 chapters in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam and we have covered 4 chapters. So 331 more to go. We are in the 5th chapter of the first canto of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, and the name of the chapter is Narad's instructions on Śrīmad Bhāgavatam for Vyasadeva. Okay? So I'm going to recite this verse and you all can raise your hands. And do we have Chaitanya Prabhu on the call? I think he might be traveling. If not him, then Gitansha Prabhu, can you take care of who will recite the next verse? Is Gitansha Prabhu on the call?
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, मैं थोड़ा अभी जॉब पे था.
Okay, someone else take care? Or okay, just leave it. I'll do that. Okay, Canto 1, Chapter 5, verse 1. Sutta uvacha athatam sukhamasina upasinam brihatshava devarshi praha viprashim virapani samayanir. So Goswami said that the sage amongst the gods, Narad, comfortably seated and apparently smiling, addressed the rishi amongst the Brahmanas, Vyasadeva. Purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So in the previous lectures, we saw that how Vedvyas, after compiling all the Vedas, he is still not happy. He is very sad and dejected. And then Narad Muni, who is the Deva Rishi. So Deva means demigod, gods, and Rishi means that he is the sages of the demigods. So he comes and he is the spiritual master of Vedvyas. So it begins with Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the spiritual master of Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma gave this knowledge to Narad Muni, and now Narad Muni is giving this knowledge to Vedvyas, and then Vedvyas is giving knowledge to all of us. And in the first 3 verses in the Mangalacharan, he instructs all of us. Pivata Bhāgavatam Rasamalayam. He is instructing us, and he is not requesting. He is telling us that you have to drink this Śrīmad Bhāgavatam if you are my disciples. We are all disciples of Srila Vyasadeva. Narad was smiling because he well knew the great sage Vyasadeva and the cause of his disappointment. As he will explain gradually, Vyasadeva's disappointment was due to insufficiency in presenting the signs of devotional service. Narad knew the defect, and it was confirmed by the position of Vyas. Okay. So the name of Vyasadeva is Krishna Dwapayan. Vyasadeva is a post, and the person sitting on that post currently is called Krishna Dwapayan. 152. Narad Uvacha Parasharya Mahabhaga Bhavata Kachidatmana Paritushyati Sharira Atma Manasa Eva Va. Addressing Vyasadeva, the son of Parashar, Narad inquired, are you satisfied by identifying with the body or the mind as objects of self-realization? Purport. This was a hint by Narad to Vyasadeva regarding the cause of his despondency. Vyasadeva, as the descendant of Parashar, a greatly powerful sage, had the privilege of having a great parentage, which should not have been given Vyasadeva cause for despondency. Being a great son of a great father, he should not have identified the self with the body or the mind. Ordinary men with a poor fund of knowledge can identify the body as self or the mind as self, but Vyasadeva should not have done so. One cannot be cheerful by nature unless one is factually seated in self-realization, which is transcendental to the material body and mind. Okay? So here, Vyasadeva, the son of Parashar, Narad inquired. So remember, Krishna did something similar in Bhagavad Gita. Kaunteya prati janihi, O son of Kunti. Asamshaya mahabaho, O best among the warriors, strong-armed Arjun. And then he is calling Arjun by various names. Why? Because he's reminding Arjun who Arjun is. Arjun forgot. He had identity crisis. He forgot for some time that he is the greatest archer in the world. So Krishna is reminding him, and at the same time, Krishna is reminding Arjun that Arjun, you are Kunti Putra. Kunti is my Bua, my aunt. So you are my family. And do you think that I will let any harm happen to my family? So he is addressing Arjun. Similarly here, Narad Muni addressed Vyasadeva as the son of Parashar, because Parashar Muni is a great, great Muni. He is a great sage. So how is it possible that being born in such a great lineage, being the son of such a great personality, you are unhappy? That means you have come to the bodily platform now. Rise above the bodily platform and come to the transcendental platform. Next verse, 153. Jigyasitam susapannam apite maha adbhutam kritavana bharatam yastavyam sarvartha paribrahitam. Your inquiries were full and your studies were also well fulfilled, and there is no doubt that you have prepared a great and wonderful work, the Mahabharata, which is full of all kinds of Vedic sequences elaborately explained. The despondency of Vyasadeva was certainly not due to his lack of sufficient knowledge, because as a student he had fully inquired about the Vedic literatures, as a result of which the Mahabharata is compiled with full explanations of the Vedas. Fourth verse. Jigyasita madhitam cha brahma yatta sanatanam tathapi shojasyatmanam akritartha iva prabho. You have fully delineated the subject of impersonal Brahman as well as the knowledge derived therefrom. Why should you be despondent in spite of all this, thinking that you are undone? My dear Prabhu, the Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra compiled by Sri Vyasadeva is the full deliberation of the impersonal absolute feature, and it is accepted as the most exalted philosophical exposition in the world. It covers the subject of eternity, and the methods are scholarly. So there cannot be any doubt about the transcendental scholarship of Vyasadeva, so why should he lament? So this Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra is very philosophical, and it has sutra. Sutra means code to understand the Vedas. So it is Vedant. That means after studying all the Vedas, who know Sanskrit grammar, who can understand all the intricacies, they only will be able to understand this Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra. And Vyasadeva compiled. So after compiling everything of that stature, how is it that you are unhappy? So this is all Narad Muni is telling to Vyasadeva. Vyasa Uvacha. I think this would be Asteva me sarvamidam tvayoktam tathapi natma paritushyate me tanmoolam avyakta magadabodham prichhamahe tvatma bhavatma bhutam. Shri Vyasadeva said, all you have said about me is perfectly correct. Despite all this, I am not specified. I therefore question you about the root cause of my dissatisfaction, for you are a man of unlimited knowledge due to your being the offspring of one Brahma, who is self-born without mundane father and mother. In the material world, everyone is engrossed with the idea of identifying the body or the mind with the self. As such, all knowledge disseminated in the material world is related either with the body or with the mind. And this is the root cause of all despondency. This is not always detected. Even though one may be the greatest erudite scholar in materialistic knowledge, it is good, therefore, to approach a personality like Narad to solve the root cause of all despondencies. Why Narad should be approached is explained below. So we discussed this in our Bhagavad Gita class as well, that mostly the knowledge that we get, the modern education, is on the bodily platform. But it is beyond that. It's not just body that we are dealing with. We have different sort of bodies. There is subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. There is transcendental body, soul, and the super soul. So we have to understand, we have to study all this, and then only we're going to get the root cause of our miseries. That is explained in great literature like Śrīmad Bhāgavatam by great teachers like Narad Muni, as is going to be explained now. स वै भवान् वेद समस्तभूयाम् उपासितो यत्पुरुषः पुराण परावरेशो मनसैव विश्वम् सृजत्यवत्यत्ति गुणैरसङ्गः. My Lord, everything that is mysterious is known to you because you worship the creator and destroyer of the material world and the maintainer of the spiritual world, the original personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to the three modes of material nature. A person who is 100% engaged in the service of the Lord is the emblem of all knowledge. Such a devotee of the Lord is in full perfection of devotional service, is also perfect by the qualification of the personality of Godhead. As such, the eightfold perfections of mystic power, Ashtasiddhi, constitute very little of his godly opulence. A devotee like Narad can act wonderfully by his spiritual perfection, which every individual is trying to attain. Srila Narad is a 100% perfect living being, although not equal to the personality of Godhead. So we are very much interested in the Ashtasiddhis. If someone has magical powers, if someone has Siddhi, we try to run behind it and then we want to have those Siddhis. But a devotee is actually greater than a Siddha Purush. The devotee is extremely high. So today in the lecture that I shared in my sadhana card, it was said that someone who comes to the platform of Namabhas. So there are three stages of chanting. The beginning is Namaparad, that most of us fall into. So Namaparad means that while we are doing our 16 rounds first, we cannot chant our 16 rounds in the morning. Second, we don't chant our 16 rounds in complete one go. Third, we have no attachment and we are distracted. Our mind is not absorbed in the thoughts of Lord Krishna, or it's not absorbed in hearing it properly. So this is called Nam Aparad chanting that most of us do. And then someone who rises to the platform of Nam Abhas. Nam Abhas means that now I have started to get taste of chanting. Now I want to chant more and more. I complete my chanting in the morning, in the day, in the night, I don't care. And then wherever I sit, I just chant in one go. That is Nam Abhas stage, where you develop taste for chanting. And then the third is Shuddha Nam. So I heard today in the lecture that someone who reaches Namabhas stage, immediately the door for Vaikuntha opens for them and they can still go to Vaikuntha in Namabhas stage. But still the devotee, they say no, we won't go to Vaikuntha, we have to go to Golok Vrindavan Dham. So that is why we are going to wait until we reach the Shuddha Nam stage. That is the final stage. Okay, so this is the progression, and the reason I'm telling is because people think less of the devotees. Because someone can show some magic siddhi, there will be hundreds and thousands and millions of followers. But for a devotee, you will hardly see 5 people, 10 people attending the lectures. But you have to understand that a devotee is way, way, way above all these material siddhis. But he or she has rejected saying that I want the topmost, and that is Krishna Prem. So Krishna Prem will only be awarded in the Shuddha Nam stage. Namabhas we will not get Krishna Prem. Namabhas we will get Vaikuntha. But Shuddha Nam we will get Krishna Prem, and when we get Krishna Prem we go back to Krishna Lok. That is Golok Vrindavan Dham. Yeah. So point being, a devotee is at the topmost stage. 7. If anyone wants to recite, you can raise your hand. And someone please take care of this. Who can take care of sequencing? Is Raman
Yes,
Mataji?
I can take care.
Yes, Prabhu. Where were you? You are late today.
Prabhuji, I got late.
Okay, so please don't be late going forward, and raise your hands and you recite this verse.
Okay.
And if you are late, then you assign this seva to someone else. Okay, please make sure of that next time.
Tvam paryatna arka iva trilokim antascharo vayur ivatma sakshi paravare brahmani dharmato vrateh snatasya menyornam alam shva. Translation: like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the 3 worlds, and like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of everyone. As such, you are as good as the all-pervasive super soul. Please, therefore, find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in the transcendence under.
Your voice is breaking, Prabhu. So I will read the translation again. You can mute yourself. Thank you, Prabhu. Like the sun, your goodness can travel everywhere in the 3 worlds, and like the air, you can penetrate the internal region of everyone. As such, you are as good as the all-pervasive super soul. Please, therefore, find out the deficiency in me, despite my being absorbed in transcendence under disciplinary regulations and vows. So, Vyasdev is saying this for Narad Muni. Transcendental realization, pious activities, worshipping the deities, charity, mercifulness, non-violence, and studying the scriptures under strict disciplinary regulations are always helpful. Okay? So, studying the scriptures and all these things above under strict disciplinary regulations is helpful. So we have to be very strict when we are trying to study this, because this is not a novel, this is not a newspaper or a magazine, this is Lord Krishna himself. Okay? Next verse, Chaitanya Prabhu, who is supposed to recite, you can decide. And if there are no hands, then you let me know, I will continue.
Nobody, Prabhuji.
Nobody? Okay, fine, I will go ahead. Śrīnārad uvaca bhavatānodhita prāyam yasho bhagavato malam yenaiva sauta tushyena tushyeta manne taddarshanam khilam. Shri Narad said, you have not actually broadcast the sublime and spotless glories of the personality of Godhead. That philosophy which does not satisfy the transcendental senses of the Lord is considered worthless. The eternal relation of an individual soul with the Supreme Soul Personality of Godhead is constitutionally one of being the eternal servitor of the Eternal Master. The Lord has expanded himself as living beings in order to accept loving service from them, and this alone can satisfy both the Lord and the living being. Such a scholar as Vyasdev has completed many expansions of the Vedic literatures, ending with the Vedanta philosophy, but none of them have been written directly glorifying the personality of Godhead. Try philosophical speculations even on the transcendental subject of the Absolute have very little attraction without directly dealing with the glorification of the Lord. The personality of Godhead is the last word in the transcendental realization. The Absolute, realized as impersonal Brahman or localized Super Soul, Paramatma, is less productive of transcendental bliss than the supreme personal realization of his glory. The compiler of the Vedanta Darshan is Vyasadeva himself. Yet he is troubled, although he is the author. So, what sort of transcendental bliss can be derived by the readers and listeners of Vedanta, which is not explained directly by Vyasadeva the author? Herein arises the necessity of explaining Vedanta Sutra in the form of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam by the self-same authors. Very important to understand this. That after writing everything and giving all the sutra, the formulas and describing everyone and everything, still Ved Vyasa is not happy. He's sad. And then Narad Muni comes and he tells him the reason of his sadness is that he has not described the transcendental pastimes of the absolute God. So he actually discussed the Brahman feature or Paramatma feature, but not the God feature. And then Prabhupada is writing in his purport that here arises the necessity of explaining Vedanta Sutra in the form of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. What does that mean? It means that for the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, for us, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has said that Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the Vedanta Sutra. This is the final word for us, because this is Lord Krishna himself, and our aim is not to go to Swargalok, is not to go to Brahmalok, is not to go to Brahmajyoti, liberation, neither Vaikunt. Our aim is to go back to Krishna Lok. And this Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is going to take us back to Golok Vrindavan Dham. That is why this Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the Vedanta Sutra, the last word, the conclusion. Ved Ant, that is the end, the conclusion of all the Vedas for all of us. 159. Okay, please. Yes, go ahead.
No. Hare Krishna, Prabhu, am I audible?
You are audible, Prabhu, yes.
Yatha dharmatayartharthi munivaryānukirtitah na tatha vasudevasya mahimanuvarnitah. Although great sage, you have very broadly described the four principles beginning with religious performances. You have not described the glories of the Supreme Personality Vasudeva.
Very nice recitation, Prabhu. Okay, purport. The prompt diagnosis of Sri Narada is at once declared. The root cause of the despondency of Vyasadeva was his deliberate avoidance of glorifying the Lord in his various editions of the Purana. So again, understand this. This means that a guru is not meant to praise the students or disciples. The job of the guru is to correct the disciples. If the guru just keeps on glorifying and praising the disciple, how will the disciple raise their standard? And how will they progress spiritually? That is why it is said that what is dot in English? When a guru corrects someone, that is better. That is the real Ashirvad, mercy, rather when the guru praises. So we should not be very happy when we get praise from our guru, but we should be happy when we get chastisement from our guru and when we get correction from our guru, because that is the real purpose of taking a guru. And here Narad Muni is doing the same thing. Immediately, he did not praise or glorify, he just said that this is where you are wrong, because he is his disciple and he is correcting, right? So he has certainly, as a matter of course, given descriptions of the glories of the Lord Sri Krishna, but not as many as given to religiosity, economic development, sense purification, and salvation. What does it mean? That Vedvyas, he wrote about Lord Krishna, but not in detail. That was just like a small brief. But he gave more emphasis to Artha, Dharma, Kam, and Moksha. And even today, the majority of people understand that the whole life is about Artha, Dharma, Kam, and Moksha. And for them, the final verdict is moksha, liberation. That's it. And I'm sure most of you, before understanding the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, would have thought the same. That our end goal is moksha. And you don't understand that bhakti is above moksha. And no bhakt in their dream also decides or thinks about getting liberation. Liberation is, as I said, that even if we are in the Namava stage, we can surpass liberation. Getting into Vaikuntha is above that. But still, the devotees, they say, no, we want the topmost, we want Krishna and nothing less than Krishna. So these 4 items are by far inferior to engagement in the devotional service of the Lord. Shri Vyasadeva, as the authorized scholar, knew very well this difference, and still, instead of giving more importance to the better type of engagement, namely devotional service to the Lord, he had more or less improperly used his valuable time, and thus he was despondent. From this, it is clearly indicated that no one can be pleased substantially without being engaged in the devotional service of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, this fact is clearly mentioned. After liberation, which is the last item in the line of performing religiosity, etc., one is engaged in pure devotional service. This is called the stage of self-realization or the Brahma Bhuta stage. After attainment of this Brahma Bhuta stage, one is satisfied. Okay, again I'm reading this. Very carefully understand this. After liberation, Artha, Dharma, Kam, Moksha. So after moksha, after liberation, which is the last item in the line of performing religiosity, etc., one is engaged in pure devotional service. Understood? After attaining liberation, one is engaged in pure devotional service. And this is called the stage of self-realization or the Brahma Bhuta stage. After attainment of this Brahma Bhuta stage, one is satisfied. But satisfaction is the beginning of transcendental bliss. One should progress by attaining neutrality and equality in the relative world. And passing the stage of equanimity, one is fixed in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. This is the instruction of the personality of Godhead in the Bhagavad Gita. The conclusion is that in order to maintain the status quo of Brahmabhut stage, as also to increase the degree of transcendental realization, Narad recommended to Vyasadeva that he, Vyasadeva, should now eagerly and repeatedly describe the path of devotional service. This would cure him from gross despondency. So, why was Ved Vyas not happy? Because here Prabhupada says, who will get happiness? So after attaining moksha, liberation, someone comes to the stage of engaging in pure devotional service. Now, when one is engaged in pure devotional service, they achieve a stage called Brahma Bhuta stage. That is the stage of self-realization, Atma Sakshatkar. And in the Brahma Bhuta stage, or after attaining Brahma Bhuta stage, one becomes satisfied. So until we have reached that stage, we won't be satisfied. We would be hankering for one thing or the other. We want to eat chole bhature, we want to go on a picnic, we want to do this, we want to do that. Why? Because we are bahirmukhi. We are hankering, we are looking for happiness outside, satisfaction outside. We are not becoming inwards, antarmukhi yet. But someone who has attained this Brahma Bhuta stage, they will have achieved this antarmukhi stage. Okay, they would come to that stage. And then they won't need anything extra to find happiness. Like my happiness, if it is depending on a person, that if I love someone, then only I'll be happy, and when they leave me or they die, I will become sad, then that is not real happiness. Or if my happiness depends on mobile phone or car or house or private jets or God knows what, then this is foolishness actually. This is not happiness. Real happiness is that you are not dependent on anyone, anybody. It's just you become antarmukhi, Atma Ramas. Atma means one is blissful in itself, doesn't need anyone else. And why is someone blissful in themselves? Because they are interacting with Paramatma, that is within themselves and not anyone else. Okay? So yeah. So one who is, after attaining this Brahma Bhuta stage, one becomes satisfied, but satisfaction is the beginning of transcendental bliss. being satisfied is one thing, but now this Anand begins. So what we face today is not Anand. It is not even a fraction of Anand. Today we are in the stage of happiness, might be. Mostly we are in distress, but whatever we feel little bit, that is called happiness, not bliss, mind it. Bliss is something completely transcendental. Sat Chit Anand, that Anand is bliss. Okay? So after attaining satisfaction, there is a tinge of beginning of transcendental bliss. So this is the sequence. Okay, moving ahead. Next verse. Chaitanya Prabhu, is there anyone?
Bhagishri Mataji.
Yes, please.
न यद्वाचश्चित्रपदं हरेर्याशो जगत्पवित्रं प्रगृणीत कर्हिचित् तद्वा यशं तीर्थम् उष्णन्ति मानसा न यत्र हंसा निरमन्ति उषिक्षयाः. Those words which do not describe the glories of the Lord, who alone can sanctify the atmosphere of the whole universe, are considered by saintly persons to be like unto a place of pilgrimage for crows. Since the all-perfect persons are inhabitants of the transcendental abode, they do not derive any pleasure there. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Crows and swans are not birds of the same feather because of their different mental attitudes. The fruitive workers or passionate men are compared to the crows, whereas the all-perfect saintly persons are compared to the swans. The crows take pleasure in a place where garbage is thrown out, just as the passionate fruitive workers take pleasure in wine and women and places for gross sense pleasure. The swans do not take pleasure in the places where crows are assembled for conferences and meetings. They are instead seen in the atmosphere of natural scenic beauty, where there are transparent reservoirs of water nicely decorated with stems of lotus flower in variegated colors of natural beauty. That is the difference between the two classes of birds. And we have to understand this, and we have to be very, very careful, because what happens is that even though we are in the temple and we are in the devotee association, but still we choose to become crows and dustbin rather than swan. So how are we crows? Because when we meet, rather than clarifying our doubts and rather than discussing how we can progress spiritually, we discuss other people. And then mostly it's fault finding. That is all the crow talk. And we become dustbin. Why? Because other person is throwing garbage inside our ears and we are receiving as we throw garbage in the dustbin, right? So this is what we are. But rather we have to become swan. The swan knows where it should be and where it should not be. It will always choose a very serene environment. And that is the difference. And that is why when we glorify a saint, a sadhu, we call them Paramhans. Swan is Hans and then Paramhans. Jayam Vishnupad Paramhans Parivajakarcharya. We glorify Prabhupada every day, right? So this is Paramhans, because Paramhans knows how to bifurcate milk and water. He knows what is good and what is not good. So we have to become like that. Nature has influenced different species of life with different mentalities, and it is not possible to bring them up into the same rank and file. Similarly, there are different kinds of literature for different types of men of different mentality. Mostly the market literatures which attract men of the cross categories are literatures containing refused remnants of sensuous topic. They are generally known as mundane talks in relation with the gross body and subtle mind. They are full of subject matter described in decorative language, full of mundane similes and metaphorical arrangements. So this is all the novels, magazines, newspapers. So we should only read the headlines of what's going on in the world because we should be aware. But then we should not go too deep that we are wasting 2 hours, 3 hours. in newspaper, in the magazine, and especially novels is just a waste of time. If our goal is to go back to Krishna Lok, it is a huge waste of time. So if you are addicted, so it is a humble request that you start reading Bhagavatam or small Prabhupada books. If you like to read and you don't know what to read, so please, you go to vedabase.ie in Ireland, and then you just take out any small book, Beyond Birth and Death, Second Chance, On the Way to Krishna, Science of Self-Realization, Perfect Question, Perfect Answer, and you start reading that. This is what will take you back to Krishna Lok. But reading novels, reading magazines, that is just something of a crow status. Yet with all that, they do not glorify the Lord. Such poetry and prose of any subject matter is considered decoration of a dead body. Spiritually advanced men who are compared to the swans do not take pleasure in such dead literatures, which are sources of pleasure for men who are spiritually dead. These literatures in the modes of passion and ignorance are distributed under different labels, but they can hardly help the spiritual urge of the human being, and thus the swan, like spiritually advanced men, have nothing to do with them. Such spiritually advanced men are called manas, also because they always keep up the standard of transcendental voluntary service to the Lord on the spiritual plane. This completely forbids productive activities for gross bodily sense satisfaction or subtle speculation of the material egoistic mind. Social literary men, scientists, mundane poets, theoretical philosophers, and politicians who are completely absorbed in the material advancement of sense pleasure are all dolls of the material energy. They take pleasure in a place where rejected subject matters are thrown. According to Swami Sridhar, this is the pleasure of the prostitute hunters. But literatures which describe the glories of the Lord are enjoyed by the Paramhamsas who have grasped the essence of human activities. Okay? So that is why you have to be very, very careful not to waste a single moment. Bade bhag manush tan pava. It is very, very difficult to achieve Manushya Jivan, this human birth, human form. And in human form, it is extremely difficult to come to the platform of Krishna Bhakti. And we are all here somehow or the other, by some causeless mercy. So why waste our time? We are in the final stages now. So we should be very careful, because one small mistake and that will cost us many births. A small mistake with Bharat Maharaj, he was perfect. He was all set to go back to Golok Vrindavan Dham. And then what happened? There was a baby deer, and he got attached to that baby deer. And then he got so attached that when he quit his body, all he thought was about that deer. And in the next birth, he becomes deer. And then he realized what a blunder, what a mistake he did. And then he had to take another birth. So he had to take 2 more births to go back to Krishna Lok. Just imagine, one small attachment, and then it cost him 2 lives. So we are attached to so many things. How much life is it going to cause us? So we have to be careful. Okay? 1511. Thank you.
तद्वाग्जाविगसरो जन्ता विप्लवो यस्मिन् प्रति श्लोकम् अवेद्यहति अपि न मे अनन्तस्य यशो विकथयानि यति सेवन्ति गयन्ति ग्रन्थन्ति सदावः. Translation. On the other hand, that literature, which is full of descriptions of the transcendental glories of the name, pain, forms, pastimes, etc., of the unlimited Supreme Lord, is a documentation full of transcendental words directed towards bringing a revolution in the impious lives of this world's misdirected civilization. Thus, transcendental literatures, even though imperfectly composed, are heard, sung, and accepted by purified men who are thoroughly honest.
Yeah. So Prabhupada writes, out of humility, that I may be not very scholarly and there may be so much of mistakes in my writing, the purpose. There could be spelling mistakes, there could be grammatical error. That is his humility. But again, this is transcendental. Why? Because he has written everything in complete bhav stage, thinking the best for all of us. And by following all the principles, all did bhakti, had complete bhav, and then he wrote everything. So that is something that we have to read, study, and live as per the instructions, and not any mundane magazine or what we say, other things. Okay, so it's a very big one, so I'm going to skip, but we all got the gist of what Prabhupada is trying to say here. Okay, 12th verse.
Maybe Abhishek Devadev will it again.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. नैष्कर्मप्यपच्युत्भावविवर्जितम् प्रशोभते ज्ञानमहम् निरञ्जनम् उता पुनः शश्वतभद्रमीश्वरे अचार्पितम् कर्म यद्यप्यकारणम्. Knowledge of self-realization, even though free from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of a conception of infallible God. What then is the use of fruitive activities, which are naturally painful from the very beginning and transient by nature, if they are not utilized for the devotional service of the Lord?
Yeah. The fruitive activities is painful, isn't it? We are studying so hard. Just today I sent one very heartbreaking post that I came across, that in Pune, in one of the big 4 companies, a 26-year-old lady, she died because of overwork and stress from her workplace. And not a single co-worker attended her funeral. Her mother gave this statement that she gave everything for that company. She worked so hard, she was so stressed that she couldn't take it anymore and she quit her body, and not a single person came. So this is the sad, harsh reality of Kali Yuga. That we are working so hard for what? For paying bills. And this is what the society has taught us. That no, you should not be getting 99, you should be getting 100 out of 100. You studied 18 hours a day, you studied 20 hours a day. For what? For dying. So we have to understand where it does not mean that we will not study, but use your intelligence. I mean, if someone is not getting into IITs or MIT or IIM, still they can survive nicely, isn't it? Even now, the trend is that all the people who are very sophisticated, they are all opening chai shop, isn't it, in India? And they are becoming so famous. And they are earning so much. So what was the use of all the education? MBA chai wala and this and that. And then all the influencers, they are getting money. So why so much of stress? Why so much of pressure? This is karma kand actually. It is not easy. It is extremely difficult. And this is the worst part, that we are doing something difficult for getting into something that is more difficult, isn't it? And for what? Just for paying our bills. That's like we are working 12 months and hardly get 2 to 3 weeks of holiday. So just imagine you are working 52 weeks, right? So you are working 48 weeks. We are working, not you, I am also in that. We are working 48 weeks just to take 4 weeks off. Is this a good bargain? And for that we studied 12-15 years. And then we get so much of stress from the society, from everyone. Oh, why so less marks in chemistry? Why not good marks in English or whatever it is? So this is karma kand, unfortunately. But rather, and again we have to start from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, ABCD from our next life after we die. But anything spiritual never diminishes. We know that verse from 48th verse of the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, right? Neha vikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate salpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhaya. Salpam apyasya dharmasya, that even if you do little, that is going to save you from the greatest of the dangers. Just a little step in bhakti. Whatever verses you are remembering now, you will remember them in your next life. We just need to be reminded, 2.7, you will read it once, Karpanya dosha pahata sabhava. Next day in the morning program, you will say, I have memorized this verse. Why? How? Because you know this verse from your last life. The thing that we are reading, studying today, it's not that it will go after you die. No, it will remain with you. And in the next life, you just have to read it once and it will be all clear to you. That, okay, there are 3 stages to understand Krishna: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. And Krishna is two-handed, and he is the cause of all the causes. You won't have any doubt if your doubt is clear in this life. This is the potency of spiritual life. Whereas in material life, all 0. Again, start from A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is the difference. Okay, moving ahead. Next verse, 13th.
Bhagi Mataji.
अतो महाभागा भवानमोगदिक् शुचिश्रवाः सत्यरतो धृतावृतः ऊरुक्रमस्याखिलबन्धमुक्तये समाधीनानुस्मर तद्विचेष्टिताम्.
Try to read this in Brahma Samhita meter. Atho Mahabhaga Bhavana Modadre. Like that.
अतो महाभागा भवानमोगदिक् शुचिश्रवाः सत्यरतो धृतव्रताः ऊरुक्रमस्याखिलबन्धमुक्तये समाधीनानुस्मर तद्विचेष्टितम्. Sorry, Prabhuji.
No problem.
O Vyasadeva, your vision is completely perfect. Your good fame is spotless. You are firm in vow and situated in truthfulness. And thus, you can think of the pastimes of the Lord in trance for the liberation of the people in general from all material bondage. Hare Krishna.
People in general have a taste for literatures by instinct. They want to hear and read from the authorities something about the unknown, but their taste is exploited by unfortunate literatures which are full of subject matter for satisfaction of the material senses. Such literatures contain different kinds of mundane poems and philosophical speculations, more or less under the influence of Maya, ending in sense gratification. So, all of us is looking for Krishna. All of us. But, like we have discussed before, that we are under illusion and we are looking for Krishna in different things. Someone is looking for Krishna in their girlfriend, in their boyfriend. Someone is looking for Krishna in Netflix. Someone is looking for Krishna in a cup of coffee. Someone in movies, someone in a trip, someone in something else. But we are all looking for Krishna. We are all searching for happiness. That is why we are living. But unfortunately, because of our ulterior motives and desires, we are unable to come in contact with Krishna conscious things like kirtan, prasadam, books, association, chanting. Only who has conscious mercy comes in contact, because there are so many people in this world. The population of Ireland is around 4.7, 4.8 million, I guess. And how many devotees do we have? not even 100. So just imagine, out of 4.7 million people, hardly 100 people have the access to Krishna consciousness. So now we understand the rarity. But the remaining people, the 4.7 million, actually they are also looking for happiness, they are also looking for Krishna. But they are just not getting the right platform because we are not reaching out to them. If we did, if we gave them a chance, so they can actually reconnect, they could discover themselves that, okay, this is what actually we are looking for. And most of the people have become devotees because they were looking for the answers, but they did not know the source. Where can we find the answers? And that is why book distribution is so important, because people love to read and we have to give them the books. So if they are flipping pages of the novels and they just come across, okay, let me try this. What is this science of self-realization? What is beyond birth and death? Oh, what is the law of karma? Looks interesting. And then when they start reading, they really find the answers to what they've been looking for. So it is our responsibility, devotees, that once we have done our sakshatkar, we have understood the concepts, we have to go out and distribute this knowledge to everyone. Don't keep it just within ourselves. Okay? These literatures, although worthless in the true sense of the term, are variously decorated to attract the attention of the less intelligent man, which the mundane literature. Thus, the attractive living entities are more and more entangled in material bondage without hope of liberation for thousands and thousands of generations. Sri Narad Rishi, being the best among the Vaishnavas, is compassionate towards such unfortunate victims of worthless literatures, and thus he advises Sri Vyasadeva to compose transcendental literature which is not only attractive but can also actually bring liberation from all kinds of bondage. Sri Vyasadeva or his representatives are qualified because they are rightly trained to see things in true perspective. Sri Vyasadeva and his representatives are pure in thought due to their spiritual enlightenment, fixed in their vows due to their devotional service, and determined to deliver the fallen souls rotting in material activities. The fallen souls are very eager to receive novel informations every day, and the transcendentalists like Vyasadeva or Narad can supply such eager people in general with unlimited news from the spiritual world. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that the material world is only a part of the whole creation, and that this earth is only a fragment of the whole material world. There are thousands and thousands of literary men all over the world, and they have created many, many thousands of literary works for the information of the people in general for thousands and thousands of years. Unfortunately, none of them have brought peace and tranquility on the earth. This is due to a spiritual vacuum in those literatures. Therefore, the Vedic literatures, especially the Bhagavad Gita and the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, are specifically recommended to suffering humanity to bring about the desired effect of liberation from the pangs of material civilization, which is eating the vital part of human energy. The Bhagavad Gita is the spoken message of the Lord himself recorded by Vyasadeva, and the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam is the transcendental narration of the activities of the same Lord Krishna, which alone can satisfy the hankering desires of the living being for eternal peace and liberation from misery. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, therefore, is meant for all the living beings all over the universe for total liberation from all kinds of material bondage. Such transcendental narrations of the pastimes of the Lord can be described only by liberated souls like Vyasadeva and his bona fide representatives who are completely merged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. Only to such devotees do the pastimes of the Lord and their transcendental nature become automatically manifest by dint of devotional service. No one else can either know or describe the acts of the Lord, even if they speculate on the subject for many, many years. The descriptions of the Bhagavatam are so precise and accurate that whatever has been predicted in this great literature about 5,000 years ago is now exactly happening. Therefore, the vision of the author comprehends past, present, and future. Such liberated persons as Vyasadeva are perfect not only by the power of vision and wisdom, but also in oral reception, in thinking, feeling, and all other sense activities. A liberated person possesses perfect senses, and with perfect senses only can one serve the sense proprietor Rishikesh, Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, therefore, is the perfect description of the all-perfect personality of Godhead by the all-perfect personality, Sri Vyasadeva, the compiler of the Vedas. Everything is perfect here. So what do? At least we can do one thing. People love to celebrate Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas. We can all wrap books as presents and give them out to whoever we know. Even if these books are kept in their homes, someone at some point of time will take it up and try to read. And then they will become devotee, and because of you, they will go back to Krishna Lok. So this is how important is book distribution, and this is a plan that has been made in Golok Vrindavan Dham and not here. Okay? So with that, I'm going to stop. Please raise your hands if you have any questions. Okay, so everyone understood everything? So today, in a nutshell, we covered that Vyasdev was not happy. And then Narad Muni, he comes and he says straight away that the cause of your distress is that you are not giving Krishna consciousness to the world. You are giving them Artha, Dharma, Kam and Moksha. But what about Krishna consciousness? And then he is giving tips of why you should give Krishna consciousness to the world, why the world needs Krishna. So this is a nutshell.
Can I say something, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, please.
Today I was, after going to Chesswood, I was leaving, and the lady and the girl in the car, and they opened the window, and I had a little chat, and they were telling me about how she injured her elbow. But progressing from that, I went on, and she said the girl had a friend who was Indian, and then the mother said, I have started to read the Krishna books. I said, that's very good. I said, that's very, very good. And I just gave them a little bit of explanation about the Vedic culture, and with some comparison with the Abrahamic religion, which is only 3,500 years ago, where each of them are fighting against each other, and she took it very well, actually, and she understood, and she's going to keep in touch with the lady, the girl's mother, the Indian family. And whenever I see something, if I get a chance, I kind of let them know.
Yeah. So this is our responsibility, because trust me, we are all going back to Godhead. There is no doubt about it. We are going. It's just time that is separating us. Someone might go earlier, someone might go in the next life, someone maybe in 4 lifetimes, but it is guaranteed we are all going back now. So why not propagate this to everyone?
Yeah, true. I agree. Totally agree.
Yeah. So we can come up with, however we are comfortable, if we can knock on the door and give them the books, or if we feel that no, they get annoyed. So whatever creative ways you can come up with, you can gift in the shops, you can go to the libraries, you can knock at the door of your neighbors and just gift wrap with chocolates and cookies and a few books of Prabhupada, Bhagavad Gita, and just give them. No one would say no to gifts, isn't it?
Yeah. One more thing. I'm planning to meet my friend who is a solicitor, who I've been engaged with for many years, and I'm going to ask him how I can give one Bhagavad Gita to each of the courthouses. And
sorry.
Sorry. Can I go over it again?
Yeah, please.
I'm going to meet my friend who is a solicitor, who I've been working with for many years, and ask him how I can give one Bhagavad Gita to each courthouse.
Yeah.
In the court in Dublin, because you see, when you ask to swear, they only have they don't have Bhagavad Gita.
Okay, got it.
They have the Bible only.
But what I'll tell you, Prabhu, is that if you directly give Bhagavad Gita to someone, it is going to be very difficult for them, because Bhagavad Gita is complete philosophy. So what I would suggest is that always give some small books with Bhagavad Gita and tell them that you begin with the small books like Law of Karma. Perfect question, perfect answer. So that they have some pretext, they have some understanding, and then they dive into Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, I agree, yeah. Like I told the lady today, I could give her some small books if she wanted.
Yes. Because most of the people I know, they don't read Bhagavad Gita, including my family members, because they say it's difficult. We don't understand it. And if you don't understand something, you lose interest. And you just keep the book closed and you never take it again.
Yeah, give them something more, yeah.
Yeah, something small, something that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Chaitanya Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji, I was going to ask something else, but when Annagatu Prabhu asked this question, so my one question I want to ask, that like if we have like little kids that are our friends and like for of our relatives or something, so like for them, like are there any books that we can give them?
I think, yeah, in India, Prabhuji, there are many books for the kids. There is Bhagavad Gita for the kids, and you will find mostly in India, but I don't know if it's in English language. So we'll have to search for that. Because I remember in the glorification of Guru Maharaj, there was one devotee, I really forgot his name. And the seva that he was given was just to write books for the children, kids. So I'm 100% sure there are books for the kids. We just need to find.
I don't know about the Bhagavad Gita, but there is children books wherein it's like we have Krishna book, right? But that is complete big. But there are that the same thing was made for children's, and it consists of 4 volumes with big pictures and short stories of every complete Krishna book, the complete Krishna book
for children.
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe you can look it up online.
That's this one, yes.
Yeah. And also, I think there are different books for the kids, if I'm not wrong. There are books.
Yes, there is Mahabharata as well.
Yeah.
And small books of characters of
Mahabharata and Krishna book. I don't have book from
Prabhuji, I have shared a link.
It's the spiritual world is the shadow of material or something. That book is very nice. Small.
Gitanshi Prabhu, share in the group, because the here it will be expiring after some time.
Prabhuji, this seems it's in Spanish, but Gitanshi Prabhu shared.
He's still, he's, okay. Anyway, so yeah, I know there are books, because I've also seen in Pune, there are many books, and there are very, very great scholars. Especially, I see that the disciples of His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj, they are so scholarly in writing these books that I am amazed at the depth of the knowledge. Like there is Shubh Vilas Prabhu, there is Chaitanya Chandra Prabhu, right? And then there is so many devotees actually, and it's a brilliant composition, like just mind blowing. So in Mumbai, in Pune, you will find such books. Yeah. That is for you, and for the children, you can find Prabhu online. You will definitely, there are so many books, I know. And it's a good thought actually, because children, it's very important to engage them in early stages.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, my other main question that I was going to ask before, that so you were mentioning about like that Guru's true mercy is when we get the scolding and not
chastisement.
Yeah. So when Prabhuji, the question is that when we are, let's say we are in Ireland, so like it is very difficult to meet Guru. Like maybe once a year we will be able to meet when we get it. So like in this situation, like maybe it's very difficult to.
It is not difficult, you know why? Because you are still thinking on the platform of Vapu. It should be on the platform of Vani. When you hear Guru's lecture, when Prabhupada is scolding you rascal, not getting up for Mangalarti, then it is for you and me. So if I am not waking up for Mangalarti, that is a chastisement for me. So it's not that I am away from Prabhupada or I am away from my Guru. You hear the lectures, and if the Guru is saying something and I am not doing that, that means that is a personal instruction to me. And I have to take it up. Okay?
Yes, Prabhu.
We have to be proactive, Prabhu. I am telling you again and again. We have to be proactive. We should not be waiting that someone will come and take us on the boat and they will row us back to Godhead. No. You have to make your way. You have to be anxious. You have to look for those people who is going to do that for you. राइट? सो दैट इज वाई वी शुड नॉट बी वेटिंग कि अरे प्रभु जी कल को आकर बोलेंगे कि मृदंग सीख लो, तब मैं सीखना चालू करूंगा। अभी क्यों सीखना है अपने को? क्यों? किसने मना किया है? किसने रोका है मृदंग सीखने से? किसने मना किया है आपको भोग बनाना सीखने से? किसी ने तो नहीं मना किया है, बट वी आर नॉट प्रोएक्टिव। हम सीख ही नहीं रहे, वी आर इन आवर कंफर्ट जोन। सो दिस इज ऑल पर्सनल इंस्ट्रक्शन प्रभु। लेक्चर सुनिए एंड उस लेक्चर से यू विल गेट एवरीथिंग दैट यू आर सपोज्ड टू नो। ठीक है?
Can I come in again, please?
Yes, Prabhu.
I also mentioned today that if you wanted to attend the temple, I explained to you where it was. The Middle Abbey Street exit of Eason's, the door, the warehouse door, and then the restaurant is in red called Govinda's. And the building belongs to the temple. And on the top floor we have the service. And I explained to them here about how our service will last 4 hours plus. Whereas an ordinary Catholic or Christian service will only last 1 hour. And they don't seem to have a friendly gathering after that. They kind of, and give us some insight into it. And I wear no matter where I go, I wear the tilak every day.
Nice.
I go to the bank, I go to the shop, and sometimes people ask me, what is that? That's the starting point of a conversation. Yeah. So I don't feel I go in the bus as well. No matter where I go, I've been doing for years now. So I think we should do that. Our devotees should be doing that. Yeah.
Okay, any other person? Any question? ठीक है, आई थिंक चेतन प्रभु आपका हाथ अभी तक उठाया हुआ, आई डोंट नो कि वो क्वेश्चन। ओके, ठीक है। सो थैंक यू एवरीवन फॉर जॉइनिंग। दिस वीकेंड वी आर ऑल गोइंग टू, मोस्ट ऑफ अस आर गोइंग टू इनिशियल, सो आई डोंट थिंक we'll have मंगल आरती on Sunday because we won't be here. We will be attending मंगल आरती in Inisharat. ठीक है? So I will post in the group. And those of you who are here on Sunday, so please do Mangal Aarti at your place by yourself. Don't break the habit. Okay? Yeah, that's very important. That don't relax.
प्रभु संडे प्रोग्राम है?
संडे प्रोग्राम नहीं है ना प्रभु जी, निश्रात जा रहे तो कैसे रहेगा संडे प्रोग्राम? यस। ओके, चलो श्यामा सखी माता जी का क्वेश्चन है।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी एक डाउट था। भागवतम पहले ब्रह्मा नारद मुनि को बोले थे ना?
नहीं, ब्रह्मा नारद मुनि को नहीं बोले थे माता जी। ब्रह्मा जी ने सारा ज्ञान दिया है नारद मुनि को। भागवतम सबसे पहले सुखदेव गोस्वामी ने बोला है परीक्षित महाराज को। आप कंफ्यूज मत होइए। ब्रह्मा जी ने सारा
एक क्वेश्चन थी कि वेदव्यास कंपाइल्ड 18 पुराण, तो भागवतम इज कमिंग इन दैट 18th पुराण और इज आउट ऑफ 18?
नहीं, दैट इज इन 18th पुराण। तो सबसे पहले नारायण ने चतुश्लोकी भागवतम बताई ब्रह्मा जी को। ठीक है? फिर ब्रह्मा जी ने उस चतुश्लोकी 4 श्लोक सीख कर उनको पूरे दुनिया का सारा नॉलेज आ गया, सिर्फ 4 श्लोकों में। ओके? एंड देन उन्होंने पूरे सृष्टि की रचना करी। एंड देन जब रचना हुई तो फिर सबको उन्होंने ज्ञान प्रदान किया, जैसे नारद मुनि को। और नारद मुनि ने फिर वो ज्ञान वेद व्यास को दिया। वेद व्यास ने वो ज्ञान अलग अलग लोगों को दिया, 4 अलग अलग लोगों को दिया। पाइला, व्यासंपायन, ये 4 वेद जो चतुर्वेद है ना, ऋग्वेद, सामवेद, अथर्ववेद, तो ये सब वेद, ये कर्म कांड की बात आ जा रही है जो मैं बता रहा हूँ। ये सब कुछ कॉन्सेंट्रेटेड है, लेकिन सिर्फ और सिर्फ जब भक्ति की बात आती है तब वेद व्यास जी ने वो नॉलेज दिया सुखदेव गोस्वामी को। लेकिन सुखदेव गोस्वामी को वो नॉलेज पहले ही दिया राधा रानी ने और शिव जी ने। सो राधा रानी ने ऑलरेडी उनको भागवतम सुनाई, फिर वो गए शिव जी से, उन्होंने सुनी अमर कथा अमरनाथ में बैठ के तोता बन के, और फिर वो गर्भ में आए, और फिर व्यासदेव ने फिर से पुनः उनको तीसरी बार भागवतम सुनाया, जो कि हम अभी उनसे सुनते हैं। ठीक है जी? ओके, हाँ ठीक है। ठीक है, चलो, थैंक यू एवरीवन. सो विल मीट नेक्स्ट वीक. नाउ मोस्टली मंडे को शायद ना मिल पाए, तो ट्यूसडे को इवनिंग क्लास. हरे कृष्णा.
Hare
Thanks for
Krishna.
joining.
Thank you.
हरि बोल.
Thank you.